Hello and welcome to Narayana IAS live discussion. Students, today we have chosen a topic on proportional representation. Now, given that the elections have concluded in India recently, there's a debate on moving away from the current system, which is the first past the post system, and switching over to the proportional representation system. So what exactly is proportional representation system and how it is different from first past the post system is something that we shall be discussing in today's session. So let's get started. So in this article or in this topic, you need to understand two main concepts. One is proportional representation and the other one is first past the post system, right? You can map this topic under GS paper 2, right? So let's start with the context. What is the context? Now in the recently concluded Lok Sabha elections, right, the NDA, which is a coalition of BJP and other political parties like TDP and Janata Dal, they won 293 seats with a 43% vote share. So here you see NDA winning 293 seats having 43% vote share. And the India bloc, which is a coalition group of Congress plus other political parties like Aam Aadmi Party, Samajwadi Party, Trinamool Congress, they secured 234 seats with 41% vote share. And the other regional political parties and independent candidates, they won 16 seats and their vote percentage was 15%. What does it mean? It means that the NDA government, whose vote percentage was less than 50% but secured more than 50% of total seats in Lok Sabha, which means the seat is not in proportion. The seats that the India government, or for that matter the India government got, was not in proportion to the vote share it got in the elections. So here they got less than 50% of vote share and got more than 50% of seats. And with respect to regional political parties, they got 15% vote share, but the seats they got was not even 15%. It is less than 15%. What does it tell you? What does it indicate? It indicates that there's a disparity in seat allocation relative to the vote share. I hope you're understanding the context. Now let us try to understand what is first past the post system that we see or practice in our country. Now in first past the post system, any candidate securing the maximum number of votes will be declared as a winner in a constituency. For example, let's say this is a constituency named XYZ, right? It has around 1000 electorates or voters, and there are 3 candidates standing in the elections, A, B and C. These are the 3 candidates. The candidate A has secured, let's say, 200 votes. Candidate B has secured 180 votes. Candidate C has secured 170 votes. And the rest of the votes, Nota got rest of the votes. Now this 200 is less than 50%. Despite that this 200 is less than 50%, that is 500 votes, this candidate A will be declared as a winner. Why? Because he has secured the maximum number of votes. So this candidate A will be representing this XYZ constituency. This is known as first past the post system. Whoever secures majority will be declared as a winner. This is very easy and feasible in large countries like India. Countries like USA, UK and Canada practice this first past the post system, right? India adopted this first past the post system. Why? Because it gives stability to the government, and that's the reason we adopted the first past the post system. Now the first past the post system can lead to over or under representation of political parties. So here in first past the post system, the NDA government is over represented and the regional political parties or the independent candidates, they are underrepresented. It can lead to both over or under representation, right? We have discussed in the previous slide. Now let us try to understand what is proportional representation system. Now in first the past post system, whenever we go to vote for the Lok Sabha or the state assembly elections, we are actually voting the candidates. We are not voting the political parties. Now in the proportional representation system, the voters are actually voting the political parties and not the candidates. This is what is proportional representation. So let's say, for example, Lok Sabha has 500 members for the sake of convenience. Let's say the NDA government has secured around, let's say, 40% vote share. And let's say the India has secured, let's say, 45% vote share. And let's say the other political parties have secured, let's say, 15%, which means NDA will be getting 40% of 500. The India will be getting 45% of 500, and the other political parties will be getting 15% of 500. Which means in the proportional representation system, the political parties would be getting seats based on the percentage of vote share. This is known as proportional representation system. But here there is typically a minimum threshold of 3 to 5% of votes, which means a political party has to secure at least more than 3 or 5% of votes to get seats. So let's say a political party gets only 1% seats. Now this political party won't get even one seat. So to get seats, your vote percentage or voting share should be more than 3 or 5%. Now let us try to understand that had in 2024, that is recently concluded elections, had India adopted the proportional representation system, how would the picture appear? For example, in the states of Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh, right, the India bloc would have secured more seats had India adopted the proportional representation system. Or let's say, talking about Odisha, the Biju Janata Dal would have secured more number of seats had India adopted proportional representation, which means that the voting share of BJD in Odisha was more, but because of first past the post system, the BJD could not secure seats in the Lok Sabha. Or let's say Tamil Nadu. Now in Tamil Nadu, the NDA coalition did not get any seat. Now, had there been PR system, that is proportional representation, the NDA would have won some seats in the states like Tamil Nadu. Which means now somehow the seats given to the political parties are not in proportion to the voting percentage. And then we have the mixed member proportional representation. Now in this is a blend. This is actually a hybrid model of both first past the post system and proportional representation. It aims to balance the benefits of both systems, right? For example, countries like Germany and New Zealand, they practice the MMPR system. Now countries like Brazil, Argentina, South Africa, Netherlands, Belgium, Spain, they use proportional representation system. Germany and New Zealand, they use MMPR systems. MMPR is a mix of first past the post system plus the proportional representation system, which means some seats will be contested as per this system and some seats as per PR system. Now let's try to understand the benefits if India adopts the proportional representation system. The first benefit is that the political parties will receive seats in the legislature that are proportionate to the percentage of votes they receive in the election. Which means as per the proportional representation, even the smaller political parties can win seats in the legislature. Or let's say the minority groups. For example, the Muslims in our country constitute around 15% of India's population. But the seats of Muslims in Lok Sabha is not even 5%. Which means if India adopts proportional representation, the minority groups, the small political parties have a chance to get seats in the legislature. In the current system, only the major political parties have a chance to win seats in the legislature. But in the PR system, even the smaller political parties have a chance to win seats. The second one is smaller political parties, as I told you, have a chance of winning the seats. Now here, if we adopt a proportional representation system, we'll have a multi-party system. Now, having a multi-party system, which means representing different interests of different sections of the society, which means we would be actually promoting pluralism, which is a key tenet of Indian Constitution. Don't you think so? Now, we discussed that in one of the examples, we discussed that in the first past the post system, let's say there are 1000 voters and A has secured 200 votes, B has secured 180 and C has secured 160, right? Now A will be declared as winner. What about the rest 800? Actually their votes are going waste. Now in order to overcome this lacuna or challenge, the proportional representation makes sure that the vote of any single person does not get wasted. The vote of every person is counted. Why? Because in the PR system, the electorates, the voters are actually voting for the political parties and not the individuals or the candidates. But the problem with the PR system is that it can lead to potential instability. Why? Because as in the PR system, the people will be voting political parties, here we would get to see the proliferation of political parties, which means India, given that India is a diverse country, there will be many political parties in our country. We already have so many political parties in our country. If India adopts PR system, there will be more number of political parties in our country, which means the political parties would be formed, might be formed on the basis of parochial interests like religion, caste, reservation, etc. And these political parties can also win some seats. Now, having so many seats or having so many political parties, which means that there are higher chances of a political party not securing majority in the parliament, which means more than one or more than two or three political parties have to come together to form the government. Then there will be a problem with respect to the ministry position, the prime minister position or the important ministerial positions. But the author tries to say that such issues are also present in the current first past the post system. But there's a need or there's something that we need to focus on the proportional representation system. The Law Commission's 170th report from 1999 recommended experimenting the MMPR system. Now, it recommended, the Law Commission, that 25% of the seats could be filled through PR and the rest through first past the post system. Now, in the upcoming delimitation exercise, which will be held after the 2026 census, we are getting an opportunity through which we can actually think of adopting the PR system. Now, adopting the PR system would also help the federal balance or federal principle of a constitution, which means the regional interest would also be taken into consideration. So, these are some of the benefits and few concerns associated with the PR system. Going forward, it is very, very important to have a consensus among all the political parties or all the stakeholders before we can think of adopting the PR system. But given that the first past the post system has few challenges or concerns, it is high time that we think about adopting the proportional representation system. Students, I hope you have understood the article in entirety. And that's it from this session, students. If you want us to continue with the live discussion, then please to like, share and subscribe Narayana IAS. Thank you so much.
कोई भी नहीं था, हम दम पे
सिर्फ 2 चार थे बाद में।